My name is Rick Herbst, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-owner of Nona's Family Kitchen. I got into the food business industry um, really out of a passion um, that I had followed my entire life. My first passion and my first career for the first 30 plus years of my adult life has and continues to be. I'm an actor. I'm a professional actor. I've worked on many different shows, a lot of different episodics and whatnot. Lived the life of an actor, and I love it. And you know, it was something that I got involved in very early on in my life as a teenager, 12, 13 years old, and just continued. So I personally, I've always been enamored with the restaurant world and the food industry in general. And I'd always, after having early in my pre-career as an actor, would be working in restaurants. I always wanted to be the guy who owned and operated it. It just seemed like a very exciting venture to me. Well, when you start digging into that, as every actor does, it's like, oh, I'm going to open a restaurant. Hey, that'd be easy. That's be great. You get there, you get to sit in a cool little booth in the back, and people wave at you, and it's like, it's like it is in Rocky. Hey, Rock, how you doing? It's like, no, it's not that at all. And anybody who has ever looked at trying to be a restaurateur, you realize, or a bar owner, you realize, you got to have eyes in the back of your head. It's not, these are people that are working for you, and, things happen sometimes. So you got to be very, very careful. So I didn't want that to be the first foray for us, for my family. And I did want to do it with my family. I did want to do it with different friends and actors at one point, but, we all kind of realized the amount of work and effort and money and time that it went in there. You live at the restaurant. So, and that wasn't something that was even feasible for me because I still, was working very, very much as an actor on a television show. The idea came for Nona's Family Kitchen. Actually started off as Nona's Family Catering. We started doing, local parties, my mother and I and our family, my kids, Nicholas and Cameron and my wife Donna and myself. And then, a couple of friends here and there would help out when they could. But mostly it was us. It was just the family doing it, hence known as family. And we liked keeping it that way. However, we realized how labor intensive that was. So I looked to find a way to be able to bring our company to the world, but do it in a way that was less labor intensive, but still we were still able to bring a quality product to the masses and do it in a way that we get a chance to control the level of what I feel in my mother's cooking is excellent. So our company sells prepared foods, entrees, take and bake entrees, some specialty and gourmet pizzas that are all made fresh and then frozen. And then we also have currently 6, moving into 7, maybe a few more, but currently 6 to 7 signature sauces that we actually bottle. I personally have, over the past 6, 7 years, also become very enamored with and studied very, very hard and spent lots of money on different courses for marketing, because I realize that no business really can go anywhere unless you have the proper tools and you also have a good marketing plan. When I was looking at where this business would go, because I realized that no business can stay in one place, and the only way that it grows and scales to whatever that vision is, and I have pretty big visions, is to know what your costs are. I happened to be watching one time on the Food Network Chef Robert Irvine and Restaurant Impossible, which is one of my favorite shows on that particular network. And he was brash, he was bold, but he came in there and he gave people a game plan for being able to save a failing restaurant, because those are all people that had dreams of doing something with, whether it's a recipe or with their families, or it's a dream of, being an entrepreneur and owning a business and what have you. But it really came down to, what are your costs? And that will sink a restaurant, that will sink a food company quicker than you say boo. It's the number one thing that was on my mind. And I had to bring that to my mother. And that wasn't a very fun conversation, I got to say. But that's why I'm the COO and she's the head chef. When I was, looking for ways to be able to narrow down cost, I knew that there were so many variables involved. I mean, I knew that I had to know each and every ingredient. I knew I had to know, how much went into the preparation. How do you, distinguish a batch of something from, a plated serving of something? And how do you know when to go shop for something? And I mean, this all involved math. And as an actor for well over, like I said, 30 years, it's the one thing I don't want to get involved in. I'm good with being the project manager, and we're going to go over here, we're going to do this here, we're going to do this here, and then roll up my sleeves and do it myself. But when you say, okay, go do this math problem, I'm like, huh? It was really about finding something that would make it simple, that it would make it make the calculations that I needed available to me. I mean, down to the penny. And I needed something that, was let's just say it, dummy proof. And I started, doing a search online. I found a lot of different calculators, and they were like, oh, and in this Excel spreadsheet, and everyone, like, my eyes were still crossing. And I said, no, it still involved me in, having to learn a different program. And I knew there was going to be some learning curve, but I wanted something that was, I'm a drag and drop guy. I want something that's a copy paste, enter these numbers and the software will do it for you. And, there are a few others out there, and I can't remember exactly which ones I found, but I did find this one particular company after looking through quite a few others called recipecosting.com. And the thing that drew me to it, there was a page that had 4 or 5 different videos that broke down exactly what the process was, and then an overview video of why you need to have a certain software to take care of these things. And if you turn this kind of job over to somebody else, it's something that you would pay thousands of dollars for. If I had to turn this over to an accountant and say, here's my books, you figure them out, trust me, it's by the hour, and it doesn't come out good at the end. When I found recipecosting.com and reached out to Robert Vasquez, the owner and the creator of it, I was really taken with the fact that, first of all, he was giving a free trial of 30 days. He's like, here, go ahead, use it, for 30 days, for free. He never asked for a dime, you can put your credit card on file, that's great, but at the end of the day, you got 30 days to play around with this. You need to know what your margins are, your bottom line is, the cost of your food, how much profit you're going to make, and mostly, how are you going to scale your business to be as big or as you want it to be. I knew that I had to have something like Recipe Costing software. There's a lot of people that put out products and you'll buy them and you'll never be able to get in touch with them because, again, it's the online world. It's the way e-commerce is done now, unfortunately, in some businesses, not the good ones, obviously. And I count Robert Vasquez's company as not only one of the good ones, but one of the top for many reasons. Because anytime I had a question about how to input something or how something else worked, he always said, listen, let's schedule a time, let's go online, I will walk you through it. And he literally scheduled a webinar and we were able to do it. And I could do that at any point in time with him to this day. And because it's such an intuitive software, there's quite a few moving parts in it, but it's not like you need to know all of them right out of the gate. One literally builds on the other. So as you learn the software, you're also learning to build your business at the same time. So it's a pretty incredible, invaluable piece of software. In as much as our kitchen needs pots and pans, we need this software. We need recipe costing software. I found that one of the best parts about it is for me to be able to look at a recipe, to make a recipe card. One of the other important things about being able to have your business grow and scale is, hey, look, I'm not going to sit there with a whip in the kitchen on my entire family going, make more stuff, make more, here, we need more pizzas, we need more sauce, we need more. You can't do that, At some point, you want to live the life of the entrepreneur and not be working 24/7. Otherwise, it's back into the restaurant and, you're constantly living there. You want to be able to have freedom in your life. You want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And with that, you also want to be able to pass that torch on to somebody else, or pass that, or pay that forward with somebody else to be able to hire someone. The problem with that is always like, oh, okay, well, I pass this on to somebody that we hire to make this sauce, this pizza, this take and bake, whatever it may be. And now all of a sudden we're in trouble because they ain't know none. So therefore, for me, I really wanted to make sure that I could pass any of these recipes off to anybody in the kitchen, obviously walk them through it, but they would have exactly the same steps that we go through in order to put together any of the recipes that we have. So I feel that that's one of the biggest, pluses with regards to the software, to be able to leverage your time and leverage you through having the exact recipe and menu items laid out step by step, no guesswork, so that you're delivering the same product, the same quality to your customer. So a lot of people always wonder, how much do these kinds of things cost? And, I was very much looking at that as well. And I laughed because when I looked to see how much the monthly subscription was, I chuckled to myself because, it was nominal. I could literally sell, maybe 2 entrees a month and it was paid for. And that's clearly, if you're using the software and you're building a real business, that's chump change. And it's not even a question. I think the thing that I would say to anybody who's even remotely considering recipecosting.com and using their software, don't even question it. Each time that I've gone into it, literally in the past 2 months that I've been using it for our business, I've seen improvements that are blowing my mind. When I add in an item, say that comes into our kitchen, I can actually add it in according to what the USDA ingredients are and nutritional facts that need to be on our products. That's huge. Not only the standards, but if you're using a certain brand, he just started to put that in there, which I thought was extraordinary. He has payment integrations that you can literally track your inventory as you're selling wherever it may be at your location, or like we do from time to time, we sell quite a bit online. It will integrate with Square. It will integrate with Katana. It will integrate, and he's bringing in more and more integrations every single day. Personally, I use Shopify, and he's actually working on the API for that to be able to integrate, so that when I get a sale over here, wham! All of a sudden, my kitchen knows in its inventory we have this much less. We have this much less of these items that go into this recipe. Oh, and by the way, when that's done, here's your shopping list of what you need. So I can walk into all of the purveyors, all of the different vendors that I use, make sure that I've got the actual cost of each of those items, the lowest cost that I can get, so that my margins are there. And I don't have to worry about, oh God, I got to go run to where my inventory is to know what's in there. It's like, no, it's already entered in there. And you basically, once you set it up and start running it, it's really kind of a set it and forget it kind of situation.